So this is Mearsbrook Park Road, and Mearsbrook Park Road is a really good example of many of the streets in Sheffield which were originally programmed for large-scale tree felling. As part of the council's highway maintenance plan, it had originally had plans back in 2012 to fell approximately half the street trees in Sheffield, so roughly half of 36,000 street trees. Mearsbrook Park Road is quite a good example. It had 43 trees on this road, and the council's plan was to fell 21 of them. It's an avenue of predominantly lime trees. It has an ash tree and a plane tree at the bottom end of the road, but mainly an avenue of lime trees planted approximately 100 years ago. Okay, so on Mearsbrook Park Road we unfortunately had 4 trees felled out of the 43 we had originally. This tree that we're stood next to it now has a name. The tree has been named by the community. It's called Stumpy. Now Stumpy really stands for us as a bit of an icon as part of the tree campaign. The trees on this road were prevented from felling by really the local community, residents up and down the road coming out and standing each day under the trees to protect them. And when we look at the kind of tree charter principles in terms of one of the key things is about protecting trees, Mearsbrook Park Road was an example of a community that realised it was about to lose something that was very, very valuable to it. And its response to that was to come out en masse to defy an injunction, to defy police presence and a contractor that was determined to fell these trees. We prevented them from felling the final stump, and Stumpy stands on the road, and in the winter Stumpy stands on the road and does that. And we think the community will continue to look after this tree, will continue to value this tree for all that it represents about what happened in 2017 and 2018 on this road. Okay, so one of my overriding memories around the community's fight to protect this tree was meeting a couple who lived just down the road, who were in their 80s, who bought a house on this road over 60 years ago. Chatting to them, one thing that they said to me was that the reason that they struggled and raised the money to buy a house they could ill afford back then was because of the trees. They had loved these trees for 60 years. Many of us have lived on this road much less time than that, and we had not realised the importance of the trees and the value. It's not until you risk losing something, it's an old adage, when you think you're going to lose something you start to value it. One of the things that we take forward as a tree charter group is the need to try and ensure that people don't take for granted the natural beauty around them and the benefits that trees in an urban setting give. So we understand about pollution reduction, we understand about controlling temperatures in roads, and also the mental health benefits of living amongst nature, and trees are a huge representative part of how we experience nature in the urban setting. Okay, so things that we can all do as a community to protect and enhance the urban treescape that we have. Well, here's a good example. So this is a replacement tree planted last planting season, so it's been here a little over a year, nearly a year and a half. Trees in the urban landscape now really struggle to get a foothold. Back in the day when trees were originally planted, there were horses up and down here, there was a lot less tarmac, etc., and the water and nutrients that a tree could get were much better than it could get today. The council on this one has put a please water me sign. There's usually a watering tube next to a newly planted tree. No matter what contractor who's looking after them, a community coming and watering a tree isn't going to hurt, it's going to help the tree establish. So one thing you can do is look out for trees, long spells of dry weather, take a bucket, give it some water. Something else that we can do as communities is actually really get to understand and know what it is that we've got around us. So if you look out your window or you're walking up and down the street, do you know what tree it is? Do you know what species of tree it is? This one's a common lime. This big urban street tree, very popular tree planted back in Victoria times, grows big and tall. Do you know when it flowers? Do you know when it fruits? Do you know what lives in it? Just simply finding a little bit about the tree that's closest to you. Do a bit of research on the internet, find out what it is. In Sheffield, around some of the trees, we saw people actually writing in chalk on the pavement. So writing the Latin names, writing what tree it is. Some of the trees around here, people have given names. Something has a name, you then appreciate it, it becomes part of your community. We learnt that by nearly losing them. What we really hope that people will take on board as part of any urban festival, any celebration of what it is that we have, is learn about it before it's too late. The more you value it, the more it's worth.